Hi everyone and welcome back to my channel. I hope you're all doing well. Today I've got a bit of an exciting project for you. I decided to have a go at a bit of a stash busting exercise. I had a 8x8 pad from Stamperia called Alterego, and it was a 20-page single-sided pad and a pack of their paper die cuts, and I decided to see how much I could make from those items. A lot more than I've got here, but I just thought I'd talk you through them today. But before I do that, in case you're not familiar with that pad, I'm going to insert a little 2-minute video here where I actually thought about flicking through it before I started cutting into it. I'd cut one page and I thought, oh, if I video this for anybody that hasn't seen the pad, I can give you a quick glance through the pages. So I'll insert that here. So this is the pad I'm hoping to use. It's Stamperia's Alterego, which is an 8x8 pad. It's animals all dressed in little outfits doing various tasks, gardening and with their tools, all vintage looking. I won't show you every page, but I'll just show you some of them. That's one with the deer, or the stag rather, and his tools, his workshop. There's backgrounds which you've got writing on, wood panelling. This one's the one with the cat and all their ancestors there. Hedgehogs, little globes. Backgrounds with the blue there and more wood panelling. Flowers on that one. More family portraits from the animals. Damasks in various colours. One here with the dog and the library. More backgrounds. The garden shed there, or somebody's house. Wood panelling. These are some old postcards. Great bits of ephemera on there that you can cut out. Letters. Plenty of backgrounds because this is the 20-page pad. These are good, little that can make into little tags, cups with the animals and different bits of ephemera on those. These are little, I would say 2.5 maybe by 4-inch little panels there with the backgrounds, frames on the back. More postcards in muted colours, fronts and backs, and some little square panels as well. There's one more page that I have cut out, I do believe. Have I cut it out yet? Oh no, I think that's them all. So that's the back of the pad. And I've also got, if I also show you what else I've got, which is, this one is a set of paper cutouts of frames, postcards on this one, some more elements, clocks, watches, and some of the characters. So those are what I'm going to have a go with making some items with and trying to use up as much as I can of that pad. Okay, so now you've watched that little video and you're familiar with the pad, I'll show you some of the makes, and I've got quite a variety of different styles with these fantastic animals and the great artwork. So these are two of my favourite characters, the stag and the rabbit. So I'll show you these to start off with, and I've got the little dog in here. So I made some scene cards to start with. So this one, it was just a simple fold back, and I added the elements, popped them up to give some dimension, and I cut them to fit because, as you've seen, the papers are quite busy, and you think, oh, how am I going to use those? So this is to give you some ideas of how to use them. So this element was a long piece, and I cut that down, cut the drawers off here, and used it to make a scene. The same with the floor here. I just cut a piece of that out. You can see I've popped that up. And just cut this from the papers too. So I've made like a little study kind of scene there for the dog, who's a bit of a flying, looks like a RAF kind of character. I've added bits as though it's to the walls and the pictures of maybe ancestors or other family members, and that's just simply how I've done that card. On the back you saw that there's some postcards, so I've popped that as a place to write. So that's a simple fold back. I did another one of those with the rabbit, who's more of a gardening theme, great for any gardeners or horticultural lovers in the family. I used the papers to make a bit more of a shed kind of theme here. Cut out this element from the papers and the shelves, and I stacked those up too. I added the pictures on the walls just to make it look as though he'd just come into his own little shed full of all his favourite gardening tools and items. And again, that one I just put a piece on the back to write on and added the little sentiment off the papers. So that was that one. Then I got a bit more adventurous with the stag. So on this one I did a fold back, but I also did a pop up in the middle, so a Z fold, and added those pieces in there. So this one, he's more of a tools kind of man shed kind of stag and he's got everything in there, all his tools on the wall and a bit of mechanicals going on there. He's also got his globe and his books. You can see the tools on one of the pop-up elements there. I've also used these little bottles and books from the gardening one on there, and I've cut this shelf so that I could tuck him behind on this one. I've added the wood panel in, and then I've put a bit more of that shelf strip, border strip on there. Fussy cut these little elements from the papers, added the sentiment, added a little bit of his light bulbs and scientific pieces on the walls, and of course he's there in all his glory there. So that's how that one has worked out. Again, just a plain piece on the back. So those were my 3D ones. And then I don't know whether you saw on the papers, there was one of a big house on the papers. This was half of it. That half matched with this half to kind of make one piece of paper like that. So what I did instead was I cut them in half and I made this kind of DL card. So it's a 4 inches, and then I've scored it an inch, an inch and an inch and a little 1/2 inch tab, so that it stands up but it also folds flat. That way on this panel you can pop any little elements to overlap into the card if you want to. And I've just cut strips and pop them around the edge so that you get the idea of it being this shed kind of scene, and I've kept part of the paper, but also I've made it into a smaller piece of paper so it's not a huge card. So that's what I've done on that one, and I used my rabbit off the die cut papers on this one. So that's how I've done that one, and I added some little cut parts on the back again there. That fits into a DL envelope. And I did the same with the other half, this time using that half of the shed, because I thought this looked a bit more like for my tools kind of stag, and he's off the die cutter parts too. And added a sentiment, the happiness, and some cogs. I didn't have as much of the sheet left for this, so I added the wood grain papers around here, and that's what I've done for that one. I did the tools part on the back, somewhere to write, and that again stands up. I can just get it straight. Stands up just like so, but folds flat for the envelope. That's a really cool card to make if you've got one of these pieces of paper that you don't know how to cut the scene apart. You don't need the whole scene to get the idea of what's happening there, and the papers are lovely. That's that one. Then I had there's some pages there with postcards on and these little animals. These are about 3 by 4. So I cut all the animals out, and I cut all the postcards out. And also there was this square, this is square underneath here, of background papers. So I decided to make the postcard into a pocket and overlap it on the piece of paper. This is a little 6 by 4 card. So I just added one strip of gold, I didn't mat that up, there to make the pocket. And I've popped all my little animals, tried to match them up with similar postcards. Here I've got the different stag and the deer on there, and Then I've added one of the other cut aparts in the centre with the little postcards. So I've done this setup with some gems in either corner for all 6 of these elements. So that was my stag. This one I tried to theme like it says congratulations, I've got the owl on there, and this is a cat and he's more of a RAF flyer and a whole new world. So I thought that was great for anybody leaving college or passing exams. So I've popped him in there, all a whole new world ahead of them. Pop the gems on, the same setup with the pocket, and inside on this one just some more elements from the papers. This little dog here, Be Yourself, I've teamed him up with this postcard that says 4 feet is better. He's on there with the blue colours teamed up with the blue background, and I've added the compass and another little blue background inside. Pop the gems on. This little mouse, great for birthdays for you, and you can either add some ribbon to that if you want to, but you can also use this like a little bookmark. You can pop a gift card inside there behind. I just thought that was a cute way of using it. I've added, because it was all about writing and birthdays, I've added some more elements from the papers there with more letters, as though they were sending the birthday present. This one is the cats. There's some male cats down there with their hats on and a letter, and this one is about the lady cats, or well, I think there's a lady and a gent there. I've popped those on the front. It's got Tour Eiffel. You could, for the Eiffel Tower, you could also use that as a bit of an anniversary card if you wanted to. I think that's really cute. And the sentiment on that one, oh no, not anniversary, best friends, to a friend card on that one. Or you could cover it up and use it on anniversary. And inside, some more letters and details. And the last one, this one could be anniversary, forever. The 2 rabbits together. On this one it says awesome moments, and inside some more letters and postcards. So I think those, just from those sheets of where you think what could I do with those, they turned out really well, I think. Like I said, 6x4 size cards that I used. This is a UK size, but you could easily with these papers do your, is it 5.5 by 4.5 in the US, whichever size you are closest to that. That's what I did with those. Then I did some simple 5x7 cards, using up all my pieces now for this. This is one of the last ones I made. Just a simple one with the cat on there, and added all my little elements that I'd cut out. This one I really like, great for a gents card again. I've used quite a few of the Tim Holtz, these metallic sentiments. Come in white in silver and gold and black in silver and gold. I've used those as the sentiments. So this one, great for the gent in your family there. The bulldog, medals, clocks. That's how I've done that one. And I pieced that with, I did have to use 2 sheets of other background papers, this is a Tim Holtz one, just for a background. So that's one of them. Plain inside on that one. And on this one, I used the frames from the cut aparts and paired up the cats as though that was they were right into each other. Some stamps from the cut aparts again, and the little sentiment beyond ordinary. I added a frame around that. Again, just some of the letters inside. They were simple 5x7 cards, and I also made another 5x7, but this time I'll pop those aside. I just cut out the middle on this, so I did 5x7, but I cut 1.5 inches from either side and cut the middle out and popped some acetate there, and I made that scene with the cats, the female cat, the letters, maybe an ancestor of this one who's a pilot, and again I added another piece from that one sheet from the Tim Holtz papers. So they were my 5x7 cards, which I think turned out great. Got a few more things yet, just shows how much you can make with one 8x8 pad. This one was a cut apart and one of those small pieces of paper, and I added that to some gold glitter card and cut a frame at the sides here, just in half, diagonally, popped that behind, popped these all up on some cardboard, added my adventurer weights, and this was the other one where I added some paper inside, and I made that one into a little pop-up. So this was the background paper, 2 sheets on, this is a 6x6 card, and I just made a simple pop-up, you can see there on the inside, and I added 2 of those postcards, one to write on, one as a background, and then this is one of the paper die cuts. Collaged a few more elements there, stamps and letters, and I think that turned out great. Another great man's card there, or if you're off travelling, or again a college or graduation card. I then decided to do a load of tags from all the little pieces I had left. If you look on the video, there are some cup themes with the animals' faces on, and I thought, what can I do with the cups, because I wasn't quite sure. So I cut all the handles off and added them to gold card. So these are the tags that I made. I just made the tag myself. It's let me just check what it is, 2.5 by 4, and I cut the corners off. Added all my background scraps and any of the little pieces that I got left and any frames that got left, and then added one of these sentiment stickers from Tim Holtz. So popped those onto pop dots and added some twine. So I've got loads of tags now, so I'll show you those. That's my little golden retriever. This bird, peacocky one, with some cogs and frames layered up onto the fern paper there on that one with the blue background. Another one with my little cat on there, Fearless, with just layering up cogs and frames, clocks, half a clock on that one because I didn't want to use the whole thing, so I cut half a clock. Another of the bulldog, small one of the medals, added a little clock, letters again. Another cup of with the cat cut off there, seen and noted. This one, Make a Wish, cut out the keys. This was another background. This had a little cat on the background, but I laid that up with the deer. The hedgehog on this one with the rain and shine, the barometer on there. I thought he'd like to know what the weather was doing before the little hedgehog went out. This is the little rabbit or hare. This is the other half of that clock. Background frames. Another one of the little bulldog. I think that, tell a lie, this bulldog and this was off the front cover of the pad. So I was really using everything. This one is the one off the cup, and that had the awesome moments already on it. Again, the little mouse, added the leaves, another piece of the frames. This one is the owl, and I added the lights here and the globe, see the world for the owl. And the stag here with his, I had these left over, the hammer and the spanner bits and pieces, so I popped create on there. So as you can see, that has made out of all the scraps, how many have we got here now? 3, 6, 12 tags on there, and they look fab, don't they? I've got to say, the papers are brilliant. So those are the tags. We're getting to the end now, but I'll just show you the last bits. So I had enough pieces of paper left to make cover the fronts of 2 bags. This was one that I did with the golden retriever. Thought this was a great one to pop your men's presents in. And again, another man's one really. This is the cat in the top hat. But you could use it as ladies too. I'd be chuffed to have this as my gift bag. And I just layered up all the pieces that I got left over. This was one of those propellers. I just did that where the cat could sit on it. Part of this barometer here, a part of a frame, a little piece of letter, the cogs, just layering them all up, and they look great together. So those were the 2 gift bags. And on the final bit now, these were from the front page again. You can see if you have a look, this is where the front page of this stag is. I cut that off, laid it up onto a scrap of paper that I'd owned was only this big. Had this piece of the drawers left, popped that on, added a barometer, and then fussy cut these plants from one of those cup designs to add to the front. and I've just inside popped one of those leftover postcards. And the last thing I did was this one, which is a notepad, and I did this with the rabbit. This piece is from the front page. I think they're either like that, I think, on the front page, these two pieces. Cut the edging off. I had this window left and I had a scrap of green, so I patched those two together and added this little border as though it was a shelf. These were only part images, so I overlapped that window, and you wouldn't be able to tell really that that wasn't off one main piece, and that makes a great little pad. That's another little border in there, so that just looks great on there and is the ideal way to use up all your scraps. So hopefully this whole selection from notebooks and pop-up cards and scene cards and gift bags and a whole host of tags and unusual side fold cards and just little pocket cards and 5x7 cards has all inspired you to have a go, stick with a pad that you think, oh, this might be a little bit difficult to make something with, and really get into thinking, what can I make with these busy papers? And literally, once you get started, the ideas just keep flowing and you can really smash your stash like I have done. And all I'm left with is a few scraps now. So I hope you've really enjoyed that video. I'd love to hear what you think. I'll post pictures straight after this. If you do like the video, please give me a like and a thumbs up, and I'd love it if you could subscribe. Thanks very much. See you in the next one. Bye.